I wanted to be LeBron James for the intro. However, my LeBron James jersey shirt is in laundry, so that's why I'm wearing the Steve Nash jersey. And I'm supposed to have a Sprite cranberry, but it's sold out everywhere where I live. So I have to come up with the second best thing. Want a Sprite? I watched a bunch of films December of 2020. No more talking. Let's now get to the reviews. Although this is one of my favorite films of 2020, I'm a bit disappointed. While the story was interesting, it began to feel stale around the 100-minute mark. Despite that, the jazzy score is beautiful. The fantastic performances of Gary Oldman, Amanda Seyfried, and Lily Collins were really great. And the 1930s cinematography and aesthetic made the film very interesting and made me interested in the entire film. I'm giving this film a 9 out of 10. I like Julian Bell's performance in this film, however this film is just very forgettable and is nowhere near as entertaining as the Disney live-action films of the 2000s. I'm giving this film a 4.5 out of 10. This is Aubrey Plaza's best performance, but I was a bit disappointed in this film. This film is split up into two parts, and I was so invested in the first part that I was disappointed when the film got to the second part. The second part was great, but I wanted to see more of the first part. I'm giving this film a 7.5 out of 10. The performances throughout the film were great. I liked the music. However, this film is way too long. It was kind of boring. I was about to give this film a 6.5 out of 10, but since Bertram is in this film, I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. This is a sweet, enjoyable football film. However, I wish it wasn't cheesy and cliched. And why do some of the college players look like they're in their early 30s? Despite that, this film is a great addition to Disney+. I'm giving this film a 7 out of 10. Chadwick Boseman's performance is electrifying, and he is considered a lock for Best Actor at the Oscars, and he will be missed. Viola Davis' performance as Ma Rainey was fantastic. I wish the film didn't take place in one location because the main characters were nothing but spectacular and they would have thrived in multiple locations. I'm giving this film an 8.5 out of 10. Riz Ahmed's performance in this film is my favorite performance of the year. Riz perfectly captures confusion and frustration, and it's honestly devastating to see his character suffer. I don't want to talk about this film because this film is fantastic, and I want people to see this film without knowing what this film is about. This is one of my favorite films of the year. I highly recommend it. It's on Prime Video. I'm giving this film a 9.5 out of 10. The aesthetic of this film reminds me of an episode of Nathan For You, where Nathan hires Johnny Depp and Bill Gates impersonators to make a short film. The differences between Nathan's short film and Songbird is that Songbird feels cheap, it's COVID patients instead of an asteroid, and Michael Bay is heavily involved in this film. The performances are pretty bad, nothing's making sense. The film portrays COVID patients as zombies. Just don't watch this film. It's disgusting and offensive considering we're still in a pandemic. Also, don't make conspiracy theories out of this film. Some idiots on Twitter are already doing that, so just don't. I'm giving this film a 1 out of 10. Oh no. I don't want to talk about this film anymore. I already made a video about it. However, I did not say who made this film. One of the producers of this film made Food Fight, which I'm not surprised. But what did surprise me was that the director of this film also directed Disney classics like Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback of Notre Dame, and Atlantis: The Lost Empire. The director basically went from getting nominated for a Nobel Peace Prize to having an award for crimes against humanity. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. I'm giving this film the rare 0 out of 10. George Clooney is such a fantastic actor to be working for a mediocre director like George Clooney. The visual effects are stunning, however the film is boring. I paused the film twice, once to take a 10-minute nap, and the second time to go to Dutch Bros. I'm giving this film a 5 out of 10. It is refreshing to see a 2D animation film in 2020, and it has a pretty good story. The pacing might be off in some scenes, however this is a great animation film. This is the type of film that Apple TV Plus needs in order to thrive in the streaming wars. I'm giving this film an 8.5 out of 10. It's refreshing to see a new superhero film after 1.5 years of no new film. That being said, this film is a disappointment. The film should be renamed to Wonder Woman 1980 Bored because it was boring. The more I think about this film, the less I like it. Gal Gadot and Pedro Pascal performances were great. Kristen Wiig was also great, but she was underutilized. Wiig as Cheetah reminds me of Jamie Foxx as Electro in Amazing Spider-Man 2. Both were nerds who admire a superhero but becomes the bad guys, and they are underutilized in the movie. I'm giving this film a 5.5 out of 10. Who would have thought the spiritual sequel to Shark Boy and Lava Girl was the most entertaining film that came out on Christmas? Yes, the CGI is bad, the acting could be better, and the script isn't good, but it has the Shark Boy, Spy Kids charm you would expect from a Robert Rodriguez film. If you enjoyed Robert Rodriguez films from the early 2000s, you will enjoy this film. I'm giving this film a 6 out of 10. Not only is this film my favorite animated film of the year, it's my favorite film of the year, unless one random film comes out of nowhere and overthrows this film. It's heartwarming, it's surprisingly very funny, and the score is amazing. This is my favorite Pixar film since Coco, and I have a sweet spot for Pixar, so I'm gonna give this film a 10 out of 10. This film stars Kate Winslet and Saoirse Ronan, and the film was okay. Not great, not excellent, okay. So what went wrong? The film was boring, the chemistry between the two actors felt forced. I began to feel uninterested in the film at the 40-minute mark. I felt like the filmmakers had a good story, and then halfway through filming, they saw Portrait of a Lady on Fire and realized that the film was exact similar to Portrait, so they decided to make a film a lot similar to Portrait. I don't like comparing films, but I could go on and on comparing the two films. Just watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire because it was more colorful, the chemistry felt authentic, and it was an emotional roller coaster. I'm giving this film a 4.5 out of 10. So those are all the films I watched December 2020. I didn't watch every single film that came out December 2020, but I'll try to get to a good portion of them in the next 2 weeks. I'm making 2 videos about the best and worst films of 2020. The worst film list should come out as soon as January 3rd, while the best list should come out as soon as January 11th. The reason why the best list is delayed for like mid-January is because there's so many films that might impact my top 10 list. So anyway, bye everyone.